one. What's up, everyone? Coach Tony here. Welcome. This training, we're going to talk about the top 7 mistakes I've seen high school families make so far. And right now, it is the end of October. So, literally 2 months into the school year, I've seen a bunch of mistakes. I broke it down to my top 7. We're going to go ahead and talk about it in today's training. If it's our first time meeting, my name is Coach Tony. I'm actually a former UC Berkeley admissions reader, former UCLA director, former, actually still founder of high school, and former, actually no, the former first TikTok's first college admissions partner. And I've been helping families with the college admissions process for the last 16 years now, helping our students get into literally all the schools you can think of. A lot of public schools, a lot of private schools, Ivies included. So we've been sending students everywhere. And how we've been so successful, we're following the same frameworks that we know work. A lot of families say the admissions process is so unpredictable, not sure what to do. I'm like, not really. We actually haven't changed our methodologies for years. It's because we know the levers are the most important to pull to make sure you have the best shot of success in the process. So in this training, we're going to go ahead and break down some common mistakes. And again, it's not because you guys are making it because your fault. It's because a lot of this stuff is kind of ignorance, right? A lot of this stuff is I didn't know. And that's usually what these trainings is perfect for. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and talk about that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quick. You should be seeing a Google Doc on your page there. If you're watching the replay of this, there should be the link somewhere on this page, somewhere connected. So definitely you can download my notes as well too there, right? But today we're talking about the top 7 mistakes we have seen high school families make so far this school year. So let's go ahead and get started there. So number 1, first mistake we have seen is not planning ahead. We actually recently had a training a few weeks ago, we were doing a training called the high school roadmap, right? We basically help families plan out from 8th grade all the way to graduation, right? What pieces you need. And for those who know, there's 3 main pieces in the process. There's the academics, there's the activities, and there's the application itself. So these 3 components, right, are the 3 main pieces that pretty much everything you need to do needs to go back to one of these 3 for the admissions process itself. And, right, one thing we learned talking to so many families is there is no plan. There is nothing that you're doing. A lot of this, right? A lot of this is basically we'll take it as we go, right? We'll figure it out. If I ask a student, hey, what's happening tomorrow? A lot of them don't even know what's happening tomorrow. So one of the big things is to plan ahead. In the words of one of our head coaches, right? You're going to plan your work and work your plan, right? Coach Art, right? As well too. So what you want to do is you want to kind of game plan it out from now until graduation. What should that look like for your family, right? From all the different angles. First off, you should start figure out your academic goals, right? As well too, what classes are we taking each of the years, especially, right, if you're in certain majors, because certain majors require certain overlays. As a reader, I was looking for certain classes that you should have taken. Again, for students who don't think about it, who don't plan ahead long enough, you might not even be able to hit certain math classes if you follow at your schedule. That's why for us, we have some families, hey, you got to do some summer school because we want to get ahead to get you where you need to be. Right. So that's a big one. So again, planning ahead to know where do we want to go in the future and possibly using summers to either catch up or get ahead is the other angle there, right? When it comes to your activities, right? Figuring out what do you want to do, right? A lot of stuff, again, little preview for you guys, right? For those of you, I'm teasing one of the mistakes, summers, right? People think planning for summer means you wait till April, May, June, right? If you're doing summer planning actually starts in winter, the year before. By the way, right now, if you're watching this video live, summer programs are out, right? Summer plans are out. If you're doing things for summer, it is out applications are open. Applications are due very soon as well too. So there's a lot of these things that's available. So that's why people who are planning early, you have to know though, right? You have to know you're planning for this to work backwards to figure out these dates and these plans here. Okay. And then figure out what do we want to do long term? What's the list of activities we want to do? And also thinking back leadership, right? Which activities are we going to do in leadership? We're planning that out a little bit ahead of time, right? When it comes to the application itself, right? There's deadlines, right? There's deadlines you have to hit as well too. Again, try not to apply at the midnight mark. That is the worst. Try not to apply same day either. A day. If you want to push your limits, day before or something, right? But the big thing is you want to make sure you know the deadlines of all these schools and make sure you are able to beat the deadlines as well too, right? And again, work backwards. There's a lot of components that goes on in these applications, right? There's the application itself. There's the plugging in your academics, plugging in your activities. There's the blurb for the activities as well. There's the application, there's the essays, there's the supplements, right? There's a bunch of these things that are boom, 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 that are you gotta make sure you have done beforehand. So again, all this is easily fixed as long as we think ahead a little bit, right? So if I tell you, hey, what's your plan next month? Hey, what's your plan next summer? You should know. You might not know the exact because it can change, but you should know the gist of it. A lot of students, the reason why and parents, you guys can agree or not agree, right? Your kids are staying up, students staying up so late as well too. And I'm like, wait, why are you staying up so late? Oh, I have so much homework. I'm like, okay. And it's like, why you stay up late today? I have so much tests. I'm like, why you have so much stuff all the time? And I asked them, what's the plan for tomorrow? How are you going to split this apart? And they don't have a plan as well too. So again, if you prepare for everything, you'll be able to go ahead and follow through with everything there. Okay. So number one, not planning ahead. Number two, test prep. Right? What is test prep? You guys probably know test prep. Think of this as the SAT or the ACT, right? This is the main exams in high school. Little story time, right? These schools, a lot of schools went so back in the day, 4 years ago, 4+ years ago, right? Schools were test required. Most schools were. Oops. Most schools were test required. That means you had to take these. However, right, in the year 2020, schools went test blind because testing centers all shut down because we couldn't do anything, right? Then right after it, schools went back to test blind or some schools say right, and some do test optional. In fact, actually, I think MIT was the only school that's test required again, right? MIT, the minute they could, they brought it back as soon as they can, right? Is that now today there's a mix, right? There's a mix of all three. A mix of all three tests itself, right? So then this causes a lot of families to think, oh my goodness, I gotta start prepping again. I gotta start doing this thing again as well too. And then I'm like, when are you guys starting prep? Some of you guys are starting prep in 9th grade, right? And some of you guys doing in 10th grade as well too, right? And I think strategically, again, this is going back to strategy. Can you study really hard? Sure. Can you study for months and years? Sure. Is that the most optimal answer though? Right? Is this the smartest optimized answer? No, right? You do not want us to spend that long study. We like to recommend studying for 3 months, right? Recommend studying for 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months is the thing, right? Depending on your score increase. Typically, we see plus 100 increase every month of study. And that's typically what the averages look like for us there. Okay, typically increases there. So that's the big thing. So when do you? So then, and the question now though is, should I be taking this, or should my child? Right? Should my child be taking it? Because in fact, in today's world, right? Little teasers there. In fact, in today's world, right? Most students shouldn't, right? That's kind of our learning with our own students, most of them shouldn't even take it, right? There's a group of students that you have to, right? So again, the little diagram, what should we do, right? If your schools are test required, right? You have to. No choice. You have to, right? If your schools are test blind, actually, if at least one, right? At least one school is test required. As if all schools are test blind, don't do it. Don't even waste your time. If anyone's interested in only the UCs and the Cal States, don't even waste your time. Save yourself the money, the stress, the headache, all that. Just don't even do it, right? But that's, again, you guys might be falling into one of these two buckets already. But I would say the biggest bucket for our families is if at least one school is test optional. It's a lot of words out there. Test optional, test flexible, test recommended. Tons of these random ones, right? It depends. It depends as well too. Let's talk about it depends. So typically, what we like to recommend is you want to look at the 50th percentile of the school, right? Of the school's average scores, right? And that's the big thing. If you're above this, right? Submit. If you're below, don't submit. That's kind of what we've seen as well. If you're above, it's going to help you with your application. If it's under, it might not help you. Some schools might ding you. Actually, they won't ding you for optional, but like it's not going to play a significant role for you. So it's the same as not even submitting in the first place is the general strategy our team recommends, right? So you want to look at the 50th percentile of the school scores, and then based on that, you want to submit or don't submit, right? Then going back to this, you also want to ask yourself, hey, if I'm applying to a test optional school, can I increase my score to where it needs to be? Because if you can't, and this is why you work these two in combination, because if in 2-3 months you're not even close to the 50th, it's not gonna be a waste of time as well too, right? Because at the end we want to be smart with our time, right? Keep in mind academics is the least important factor, right? Test scores is one of the least important factors under the least important factor. Least important factors. We went to a national conference the other month on admissions, and the colleges themselves mentioned that test scores is this important to them, right? So if the colleges themselves are letting you guys know that is this important to them, why are we still doing it, right? Again, the only caveats to this is if you are applying to test required. Different story. Again, this is all like this lot if then statements, right? Because everyone's a little different. Their school is a little different. So keeping that in mind. Okay. So that's the biggest thing there. So again, the big mistake I'm seeing here at least is people are just taking these tests blind. And I'm like, do you even need to? Because then for a lot of families, no, you don't need to, right? Or if they are, they're not doing it the most optimal way. Because again, keep in mind, this is a new factor for some students on their apps. There's still other things that are more important to focus on. So you don't want to drop the ball and go hard on this if it's not going to be a huge component on your admissions itself, right? Also, some other things to look at. If your test scores are really, if your grades are really, really strong, this might not bump too much, right? It's one of those like everything kind of offsets each other. If your grades are a little lower and having a strong test score, sure, that can bump it up. But, right, if your if your grades are super strong, having a good test score just means you're strong. It doesn't tell anything new to the reader themselves. So again, it's just a lot of strategy to think about there. Okay. Number 3, summer. Like I kind of teased a little earlier. I should have waited, but tease a little earlier, right? So the summer planning starts now, right? Now is like October, November, December, right? That is the planning for that starts now. Why? Because there's two components you do in summer, right? Summer usually has two components. There's the academics you have control over and the activities, right? For seniors, right? Plus application for seniors. right? And we'll talk about that in a little bit as well too, right? But in summer, there's usually two things that our students like to do to kind of get ahead or to catch up or to kind of help themselves stand out a little more. When it comes to academics, right, there's classes, right? There's classes you can take during summer itself as well. A lot of the summers, though, I got to keep in mind this realistically doesn't come out just yet, right? So a lot of the classes here, if you think about classes, you don't have to, or the rush isn't that big for this one. So this mistake is not really a mistake for this is like an FYI. Where the thing is gonna be activities, right? This is huge, right? So when it comes to activities, there's a few things. There's a lot of internships that are starting to share their internship programs. There's a lot of research positions for like research internship high school positions. There are a lot of summer programs. Some of our students, like yesterday, got an email from like Stanford's stuff. We're like, okay, it's a summer program. Again, if you want to do it, you can do it as well too, right? So a lot of these are starting to roll out. A lot of the more prestigious ones, like I had a MIT's RSI program, right? One of the most prestigious research institutes out there. The app is out. App is due very soon as well too. So again, a lot of this is time sensitive. Once you miss it, that's it. There's no like, uh-oh, I didn't know. It's your fault. You should be knowing this stuff as well. Okay. So when it comes to these type of things, it's good. Again, tying in number one, tying number three, planning ahead. Is that what you want to do? Also, keep in mind, here's a pro tip on life, right? Pro tip, right? Pro tip. There is no activity that you need to have, right? So keep in mind, don't feel like you have to have something there. The biggest thing is just going to be can you do it, right? Can you do it is the biggest thing. And if you can do it, right, that's awesome, right? But don't feel like you can't, because some students like, oh no, Coach Tony, I missed the deadline, game's over. No, 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 no. That's just one component. There's still a lot of things we can do if we're starting later or we're waiting to a later time. But again, what's the quote? Early bird gets the worm, right? So that means the sooner you are on this, you can do. Some of our younger students, right? These programs are the same every year. So if you're starting early in the 8th or ninth grade families here, right? And you're starting early, you can start searching for this now and bookmarking the month that it comes out and set an alert for next year, right? I'll go back like a week just to make sure, like, because it's always off by like a week-ish, right? But set alarm. So next year, around the same time, if you go back to the website, they'll update the dates with the new like everything. That's gonna be one of the big things for you guys to keep in mind. Okay, so that's the big one. Summers, and when it comes to like programs is the big one. When it comes to applications, right? The reason I threw this in is that for seniors, right? Senior for this is for upcoming seniors, right? Summer going into fall is wild. It's a crazy, crazy time. You have everything you're doing. So not only do you have the academics and the activities that you're planning to do anyways, now you have your applications, right? You have your essays, right? You have letters of recs, right? You have all these other things that you have to prepare for in such a short period of time. So again, knowing all this early, you can coordinate. And again, some families, you guys go travel. Yes, I support that. Go hang out with family. Family's big. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're working so hard, right? Just to hang out with family, right? So do all the fun. I'm the fun as well too, right? All the fun things that you're doing anyways. The big key here is to make sure that we are able to manage everything. Little teasers, little spoilers. If you're watching this live, if you are an upcoming senior, so at the time of this recording, it is end of 2024, right? So class of 2026. If that is you, listen up, right? One of the, by the way, I'm gonna do a little marketing pitch real fast for everyone. Every single summer we do an event called the College Application Intensive Workshops, right? Basically, it's a 2-day event. You'll work with our team. We'll help you go ahead and edit your essays, write your essays, and do all that fun stuff so you have something to stress out about it as well, too. Next year, I'm proud to announce, it's official now, we are going to have 2 weekends, right? 2 workshops, right? 2 workshops next year where we took a lot of the feedback from the students and the parents for this year, and we're revamping it a little more for next year. So next year, if your class is 2026, right? This is for you. The first weekend, not weekend, the first event is called Kickstart, right? Kickstart is a 1-day event. And the one that you guys used to know, we're gonna call it the accelerator, the 2-day events, right? For those of you who can join us for the Kickstart, the 1-day event, the idea is you come to the event with nothing done, leave with your drafts done, right? This is the PIQs and the personal statements done, the main college essays done, right? First draft done, right? And those who want to come back for the accelerator, right? Come with your drafts, right? And leave with your drafts finalized. Done is our goal as well too, right? So that way, after this event, you should only focus on your supplements is the big key itself. For next year, you cannot attend an accelerator if you don't finish a Kickstart. So that is one of the new conditions. We've learned that our students who worked with us tend to do better because they have this internally with our program. And a lot of our new friends who just joined us for the weekend felt a little off. So we're like, let's just open up to everyone. So you're going to have a Kickstart experience, 1-day event, and the accelerator. This will be the month of April, May, and June. And then the accelerator is going to be in the month of July, August, September as well too. Okay. For everyone who's interested, we will open up registration. Open registration, basically your deposit to go, open registration on Black Friday for our coaching families first, and then Cyber Monday for our public as well. So if there's any spots left after that, public gets it on Cyber Monday. So get excited for that. Super, super pumped. All right. Next one, lack of honors. This is a big one as well too, right? When I'm talking to a lot of students, we're trying to figure out their class schedule. Big thing I'm noticing is I'm like, wait. Why are you taking these classes, right? Why are you taking these classes as well too? And the big thing to keep in mind when it comes to academics, right? What readers are looking for, right? They're looking for 2 things. They're looking for academic rigor and they're looking for grade trends. Notice I did not say GPA because GPA is a role, is not the most important role, right? So it's academic rigor and grade trends. So between these two, right, rigor is also more important than your trends itself. So basically you want to maximize your schedule. And if you want to think, why is that important, right? Think about it, right? You guys want to go to top schools, the Ivies, the UCLAs of the world, the Stanfords of the world, right? These top schools are hard. I don't know why people think that once they get there, life is easy. No. Once you get into these schools, the school is very, very hard. As a result of that, they want to know, can you keep up with our rigor? Is the big question of these schools. Because if you can't keep up, we're going to have to kick you out, right? If not, the college will kick you out or you will drop out. Those are the 2 extremes. We don't want that, right? We do not want this. So as a result, you want to show, hey, I'm able to take a rigorous course load and do fine. These are fine, by the way. Don't stress out about these. We did fine. And that's the big takeaway here. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to show the rigor of our schedule, right? So again, when people are like, oh no, I'm too scared of that class, I'm like, okay, what's your college list again? Right? Because again, does it match up, right? Your behaviors and your goals need to match. It needs to match, right? So if you want to go to a high-end school, your behaviors will match that of a high-end school. Okay. So the big thing for me is, right, hey, your rigor needs to match itself there too. However, little pro tip for you guys. Pro tip, right? If you guys are watching this pretty live, close to when I'm presenting this live, There is a way to increase your rigor even halfway through the year because pretty much right now you can't do much, right? With your current class load, it's pretty locked in. But let's say it's manageable. Let's say it's not that bad. It's of course a little challenging. Your class shouldn't be like easy, but it should be like a little challenging, right? But it's not like, oh my God, I'm staying up all night to do homework, right? It's like, hey, I'm able to finish still. I feel challenged, but it's like I still can probably manage a little more. In that case, one of the big strategies we like to recommend families look into is dual enrollment, right? As a high school student, you can dual enroll at the local community college. You can do this for spring semester, right? As well, too. That way, you're by adding one semester class, you're basically adding 1 year's worth of AP level to it. And that's the big thing there. Okay. So that's the most important thing. I would recommend that. And that is mistake number 4. Moving on to mistake number 5, lack. We're doing the lacks now because you guys see like, oh, lack of activities, right? So when I ask families, hey, what was your child doing? They list out stuff for me. They list out like, oh, my child's doing some clubs, they're doing some volunteering, some of them are working, some of them are doing internships, some of them are doing sports. That's pretty much it, right? Anything else I'm missing? Research, right? A lot of these kind of words that you use, right? So when it comes to all these things, right? The question is, I'm like, cool, how many hours a week? How many hours a week are you spending on all this? And I get numbers. I'm like, oh, there's Coach Tony, they spend a lot of hours on activities. They're doing like 10 hours as well, too. Right? 10 hours is a lot, a lot. Put in quotes, a lot as well, too. Our coaching families, they know when we look at say 10 hours, we laugh, we giggle a little bit, right? The reason why we giggle is that internally for our coaching families, we set an expectation for them that if, it depends on your school, right? If you're aiming for like state schools, like I would say like mid-tier state schools, mid-tier slash state high state schools, right? You want to aim, well, even like state, even privates, right? Like mid-tier privates as well too, right? You want to aim for around 20-ish hours of activities per week. That's kind of the goal we want to hit, okay? Per week here, right? If you're aiming at a higher one, higher as well too. Like this is the UCLA's, the Berkeley's, these other ones, right? Top 50-ish colleges, right? 50 to 100, top 50 to 100, right? Then you want to do 25-ish hours per week, right? And then if you're aiming for like Ivy status, you're aiming for Ivies and then like top 20. And these schools, our students typically have around 30-ish hours per week of activities. Does this mean you have to hit these numbers? No, does not mean you have to hit these numbers, but we're aiming. We're aiming for these numbers because we've seen that our students who aim for these numbers typically have around these ranges as well too. Why does the number matter, right? So why does this matter? Why do you have to hit certain numbers? Colleges want not only smart cookies, right? They want a community, diverse community of students. Not only are you smart because everyone is smart, they also want to see what you can bring to their campus. What's something unique you can do? What do you hope to continue to do once you get to the school itself? That's going to be the key. Okay. So that's the big one. So college want to see, cool, what else have you done? Because everyone already has the school, right? Has the school, right? Because everyone has a school, it's kind of equal out. So in addition to that, what else is there, right? What else do you have? And that's where activities comes into play. And then you're like, and the other question is, holy moly, that's a lot of hours, right? Right? In yes and no, right? I'm gonna say yes and no. So in terms of hours, 20 to 30 hours a week, is that a lot? I don't know, up to you, right? So first off, to put in perspective, check out your phone. right? Your phones have a feature called how much you spend how many hours you spend on things. Was it activity tracker or something? Look at that number and then come back to me and let me know. Okay, Coach Tony, you're right. Because how many of you guys are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Netflix, all these other platforms? And it's in the I bet you it's in the hours, not minutes, hours, not just 1 hour, probably multiple hours of things. So in theory, we can't say we don't have time because we do have time to scroll, right? Is number one. But even like basic math, there's 24 hours a day times 7 days a week. That's 168 hours per week, right? I feel all students should sleep 8 hours a night. If you're not students, you gotta sleep 8 hours a night. You're not operating at full efficiency. And there's a book called Why We Sleep that if you don't sleep a lot, your performance, max performance output drops. That's why you're never like as super solid. That's why when you have a good parents, you guys know this. When you sleep great, you just operate much differently than like lack of sleep, right? So that's the big one. Sleep a lot. You guys are growing really fast too, so you're doing a lot of stuff. So sleep, right? 58 hours gone. You in school 6 hours a day, right? Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, right? 30 hours there. Homework, 3-ish hours a night of homework. Some of you get a little more. If you're a lot more, by the way, let's figure it out because you shouldn't spend that much more on homework, right? 3 to 5. And for those who are, by the way, are you really focused and just doing homework for 3 hours straight? And I bet you the answer is no. I bet you have Netflix on or TikTok on, or you're talking to your friend or listening to music. By the way, those who say I listen to music, I do better. No, your brain's not wired that way. Biology says that you can't multitask. As humans, we cannot multitask. And if you do, you're not being efficient when you multitask, is the biggest thing there, right? I call it me time. So like an hour a week, hour and a half times 5, all right, of me time is basically this is your TikTok scrolling, Netflix. I do feel our students work really hard. They run really hard. You should take a mental break every day, right? Watch shows like I've been watching. I have an unhealthy obsession with like not unhealthy. Oh, pretty healthy. I watch like an episode a day. I've been watching those who watch Agatha on Disney Plus. Holy moly, the finale. If you want to chat about, slide my DMs, we can chat about it. Is it holy moly there, right? But me time, right? That's that. And then you can keep resetting yourself. If you subtract all the hours, you still roughly have 40, 50 hours left, right, of activities. So in theory, if I'm asking for 20, 30 hours, it's still within your range because activities, by definition, activities is how you spend your time, right? As well, too. If you have hobbies, isn't that how you spend your time? Counts as an activity, right? As activity, right? You guys have responsibilities at home, at school, your community. It counts as an activity, right? Commute time, right? If not, where would it fall under, right? It counts as part of that activity, right? If you do soccer, but you have to commute like 30 minutes each way, an hour total, you add an extra hour to each practice that you do because you have to commute there as well. So like keep in mind, right? You're probably already getting close to the numbers we want you to hit anyways without doing it, right? But the big thing is lack of activities. This is how you stand out. When parents are like, how do I stand out? It's not the thing. It's not the research or the internship that's going to stand out. It's how many hours did you spend doing whatever it is that you'd like to do. That is the key. Okay, so reshifting how you think about that. Number 6, college essays. Seniors, if you're a senior, this is for you. Pay attention, right? So right now, we're helping our students out with all their essays, Common App, UC App, activity blurbs, supplementals. I've been reading essays nonstop. This is like rush week for us to get students in by deadlines there. So as a result of that, here's a few learning lessons for you guys. So seniors, this is for you. For younger students, keep this in the back of your head because soon you guys will be going through the joys of college essays as well, right? The first lesson, see those quotes over essays. These are not essays unless they ask for one. By the way, for all the students I've read this year, for all the dozens of colleges, I have not read a prompt that says write an essay yet, right? It's all like respond, answer, what do you think as well too. Typically, these are questions. When someone asks you a question, you give them a response. That's the style of writing that you want to get to. Okay, so responding to them. Think of it as an interview answer. It's kind of the best way. If someone's asking you a question, right, you're answering me without adding extra things I don't need to know. Okay, that's one. When it comes to big level things, I'm doing some micro mistakes. I'm 6.1, 6.2, right? So mistake 6.1. First one is that when it comes to the size, right? You want to stay as close to the word limit as possible. If they give you 350, stay over like 330, right? Get between that range. If they give you 650, stay over like 625 or something. Try to stay as close as you can to the word limit, because if you don't, you show all the real like, oh, I have nothing else to say. Where there are students who should know this is me, my life, boom, 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 boom. Right? It's number one. Mistake number two, 6.2, right? Is that double dip as much as you can when it makes sense. That's a big one, right? So a lot of you guys are working on multiple college prompts at the same time, which a lot of our students do, right? So again, when they ask you, what is your major is pretty much the same for all of them. You can kind of double dip a lot of the answers there, right? If they ask you, what has been your biggest like obstacle you overcame? Huh? A lot of schools ask that. Let's kind of double dip the answers there. The one thing you do not double dip, 6.3, right? Why us essays needs to be specific to the school. Right? What this means, there is colleges that ask you, why do you want to go here? Why do you want to come to our school? This, you do not double dip with any other thing, because it won't make sense. Or if you do, the reasons aren't going to be strong enough for you to warrant a good answer to this, right? For you to make sure, did I do this one right? There's two tests that we tell our students to test themselves. Test number one is called the whiteout test. The other one, I'm calling it the Google Doc name test, right? So first off, what is the whiteout test? If a student told you, I always want to go to USC, you guys have a great program, you have a great program, you have great professors, you have so much opportunities as well too. That's why I want to go to USC, right? The whiteout test says, if I can white out the school's name, can I plug in any other school and still have it make sense? Hey, I want to go to UCLA. You guys have a great program. You guys have great professors. You have great opportunities. Uh-oh. Hey, I want to go to Harvard. You have a great program, professors, opportunity. Uh-oh. Right? Any school you plug in, that's going to be the same exact answer. You don't want that. You want to do, if you took it out, you're like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't make sense at all, because no, that's the only unique to that school, right? So that's things you want to look for, is number one. The second part is I call it the Google Doc name test, right? How our students, when they submit their essays for us, they put it on Google Docs, they put their name in the title, right? So I tell them, cool, your answer is about, wow, I am awesome. I saved the world. I did awesome things, right? I'm like, all right, cool. If I changed your name of your Google Doc to my name, like I stole your prompt and I submitted it on my behalf, could I get away with it? Meaning, would it still make sense for me? So when students are so generic about themselves, I love science, I want to be a doctor. I'm like, cool. A lot of people who like the science and be doctor can say the same words. That's nothing unique about you on there. So the thing is, you need to pass both of these tests, meaning if I read the prompt, oh, 100%, this is a blank college prompt. Oh, 100%, this is X John Doe, Sally Doe, right? This is definitely just the person. I cannot think as anyone else. That's how you know why us is really good. Okay. Next one. Let's do one more. 6.4, right? These need to be personal, right? The personal statement is called a personal statement. The UCs are called a personal insight. Both of those have the word personal in them. Personal means about the students, right? Stop talking about your parents, your family, your friends, right? Stop teaching me. No family, no friends, no teaching. People like to teach me stuff. about science and weird things, not weird things, like cool things, right? But things that I'm like, cool, but what does this tell me about you, students? Usually nothing. When you talk about other people, you're usually bragging about them. And I would say, wow, we should take your dad to college. We should take mom. Mom sounds like a rock star. I should take mom to college. Not you, because you just said you copy mom. So let's just take the main one, right? You want to focus it on the student. Personal means you. So a good little tip, every sentence use I, me, or my. That way, it forces you to talk only about yourself the entire time. Okay, and that's number 6. All right, number 7. You guys ready for number 7? Right? Actually, I lied. Before we get to number 7, one more thing. Right? Financial aid. It's a topic we don't talk too much about on this call, on these calls, but is very important as well as money. Right? College is for a lot of people. What's in my mouse? Is going to be the second biggest expense for a family in their entire lifetime. One more time. College is going to be your second biggest expense for a family your entire lifetime. The only thing that can beat it is traditionally, right? Is a house, your home, right? Which is like an really pretty much close to like med school, med school prices, right? So that's the thing there. It's big, it's massive. College is the biggest. Think next one, cars. Cars is even cheaper than college, right? So think about all these things there. College is literally the second most expensive thing. Biggest thing is, are you guys ready? Is the biggest thing as well too, right? So when it comes to this, planning ahead is always really, really big. So that's kind of 2 answers I have for you. Number 1, right, is when it comes to scholarships, start early, right? Start early with scholarship. Did you know you can start as young as 4th grade? So when you give me excuses that I can't find anything, no, there's some as young as 4th grade out there, right? For every single year too. Okay. So that's going to be the most important thing. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, right? So it's in 4th grade. So sites, right? What sites do you do? There's sites like bold.org. There's a few that I recommend. I know the team's not so super fond of it. But I like it for the fact that I can look up that real fast. Scholarships with an S.com. I have a friend that runs the site. Her site is accessscholarships.com. If you guys use them, it's run by Aiden. Tell her I said hi as well too. Right. So these are basically like scholarship aggregate sites that aggregate scholarship data for you guys. So you guys can go ahead and look for ones that match who you are. And there are scholarships that apply to like anything and everything. So if anyone here is left-handed, Google left-handed scholarships. There is a scholarship for you, right? In the springtime, seniors, I don't know if you guys want to do this, but in theory, there's something, I think it's still around. There's something called the duct tape scholarship, right? It's sponsored by Duct Tape, the actual duct tape company themselves, right? It is if you show up to prom in a duct tape like suit or dress, you can qualify for several $1,000s. It's not fake. Check it out. You will see it. It's there, right? So there's scholarships for literally anything out there. So again, start early. The biggest thing you'll see, pro tips when it comes to here, right, is that apply often. This is a numbers game, right? So the more you apply to, the better likelihood you can find it. The other thing is look local, right? Look local. If you apply to the national ones, like the Coca-Cola scholarship, Questbridge, the Gates Millennium Scholars Program, they're so big. There's just so many people applying. If you look for your city ones that only your city offers, there's a lot less people competing for those, right? Also look for low cost ones, low amount ones, right? A lot of people are aiming for the $10,000, $20,000 ones, $100,000 ones, but then again, how many eyeballs are on those? Versus what if you win a 500 one here, 250 one here, 750 here, 1,500 here, 250 there, 200 here, 600 there. It adds up, right? It adds up really, really quick. And because there's less, it's smaller, less eyeballs, more emphasis on you. right? So that's definitely a big one there. So yeah, definitely apply. And you'll see also the other pro tip. This is like just like college essays, by the way, too. The prompts are very similar to each other, right? So once you get through like around, there's like 6 or 7 prompts of essays that they'll ask you, right? What's your major? What are your goals? What's your biggest challenge, right? Similar questions like that. Once you have a response to all those, guess what happens the next time you see a response here? We kind of talked about it in this one, right? Double dip as much as you can. Just tweak it to the word count and then submit. Tweak it to the word count and submit there. Okay. Number 2. So that is stuff. But scholarships you have to apply though. You have to apply. You have to get it. Is the other thing as well, right? And other random, really cool news. If those of you who just joined, we had some really exciting news. Let me see if I can drop it in here really fast. One of our students just got accepted today. Our first acceptance in our coaching families. She got into ASU nursing and Baylor nursing. Right, nursing's competitive as it is. She got into both. I don't know. She got into both schools with 80,000 for one, $120,000 for two. Man, how cool is that, right? That's number 1. Number 2 component is if you guys are interested, a lot of our families who talk to us, you usually make a little too much for federal aid, right? So you might not get a lot of federal aid money through FAFSA. However, a lot of our families, you don't make enough to like pay in full and get everything paid off. As a result of that, so one of our head coaches, our strategist, Coach David, runs a service called Financial Aid Edge, right? He helps families with the financial aid process itself. So if you guys are interested, you can book a free 15-minute chat with him. That's a consult. He'll ask you some money related questions about your family, and then he'll tell you, hey, you should expect to pay around this much. And if he can help you in any way, he can help you with that as well. Okay. He also runs a Facebook group. If you guys are interested in joining it, it's called Financial Aid Secrets. If you guys look it up, Financial Aid Secrets, and you'll look on Facebook, you'll find it. He does a free training every single week for you guys. I think he did one yesterday on loans, I believe, like what loans to get for college as the one. If you're watching this like live as well too, so definitely join, definitely support him. Let him know I said hi as well. Okay. Now moving on to number 7. Right? Number 7 is probably the biggest and easiest thing to fix. Not asking for help. This was inspired by this week. I talked to a bunch of students, and the biggest thing is I noticed because right now it's like the midpoint, right? It's like we're end of October, right? Currently end of October, right? And then so like midterm season is right now, right? So I talked to a few students like back to back to back, and they all told me my grades not tanked, but like it dropped, right? Grades dipped. The example here was grades dipped as well too, right? The big thing is you don't want to wait until December to figure it out. You want to try to figure out right now, how can I fix that right now? So I asked the students like, hey, how are you going to plan to fix this? Right? And they're like, oh, I'm going to study more. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And what I told them is like, you studied to get here. And then you want to study again to get out of here, right? Clearly, what you have been doing is not working. Because if it is, you're fine, right? But it's not. So was it doing the same thing, expecting different results, right? Is the definition of insanity. Right? Doing the same thing and hoping different things change is not going to happen, right? As well too. So you guys change it up. You got to fix it. Do something different. And so guess what I told these students, right? For any academic question, who has control of your grades? Your teachers. Talk to your teachers is the biggest thing, right? And talk to them and ask them for help, right? Is it wrong to ask for help? I think a lot of the things is that growing up, right? A lot of our families, immigrant households is kind of what I've deduced as well too. We have a thing against asking for help. It hurts our ego, hurts our pride. Guess what happens in life, everyone? In college, you're gonna fail. And when you fail, you're gonna need to ask for help to get out. And you get your first job, our students get their first jobs, they're gonna fail in something. When they fail, they're gonna need to ask for help to keep going. As our students continue on their careers, they're gonna make many, many, many failures. Parents, we probably failed today multiple times. But what do? We either stepped up and kept going, or when we got really stuck, we asked for help in various capacities, right? Either we Googled, try to ask for help, or we physically ask, hey, can you help me out with something as well too? Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. I think it's a sign of maturity and strength to ask for help in this journey here. Okay. So again, I tell them who has control, who can help you, right? Who can help you in this situation? It's your teacher. Find out who can help you and ask him for help. This applies to everything you do, right? Who can help you? Ask them. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. And that's it. We move on, right? But on the plus side, they can help you. What happens if they can help you? Then you solve your problem. Then you can keep moving. You can keep moving forward and keep getting where you need to be, where you want to be, right? So the big thing here is, again, stop being scared. And again, for some students, it needs to be like a working out in their head, some probably personal things in their head you gotta kind of walk through. For some people, they just need permission. So right here, I'm giving you permission. Go ask for help, right? It's not anything bad. Their teachers actually want to. I was talking to a teacher, a parent who's a teacher this past week as well too. And then we were half joking about this concept because it just came up because again this week all happened as well too. And the teacher was like, yeah, I don't know how I can help if I don't know they have an issue. And that's the big thing. We can't help if we don't know you have an issue. So with that, again, you have my permission if you're seeking permission to ask for help, because that's what you need, go for it. Take it. And on that note, I'm giving you guys permission again. This week, if you guys are interested, our team opened up a few spots for our new families. If you're not yet inside our coaching families and you're interested in a free 15-minute coaching call, you cannot buy anything. Don't even bring your credit cards. Leave your credit cards at home, right? Don't even need a credit card. Our team's going to ask you a few questions, give you some feedback on it. That's the free 15-minute coaching calls. If you guys are interested in that, I dropped the link in the chat. And for those watching the replay, it's somewhere on this page. You guys can watch that as well. Okay. That's pretty much it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, big mistakes, but all of them you can see, all fixable. Nothing was too late. Nothing was like, oh, we're done. No more, everyone, as well, right? So nothing. So basically, big takeaways. Number one, mistakes happen. It's okay. Let's fix them. Let's move forward. Number two, those are interested in a 15-minute chat with our team, go ahead and tap here, book a 15-minute chat there. Number three, any class of 2026 families, be ready, because we're going to launch this next year. And then every single year, our event sells out, and you guys don't believe me. And then every year, you get angry that we didn't have spots for you. And I just say, I'm sorry, is all, right? So that's pretty much it for me here today. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your time. Again, book the chat if you guys are interested, and thanks for joining.